Happy Tuesday, my friends. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And on today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down week number 2 of Monday Night Football. And then we're going to get into week number 3 with our preview and predictions. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huppin right there. My co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. And from the Daily Blitz.blog, our guy, Christian Simpson. Welcome into the show, my friends. How is everybody doing?
Busy, but good.
Love to hear it. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast if you're enjoying what you're watching, because we're going to continue giving you guys good content basically every single day. So keep an eye out for that content. Whether it be the NBA, college football, college basketball, or the NFL, like we are doing today. And let's not waste any time, and let's jump right into Monday Night Football. And let's talk about the first of 2 games on Monday Night Football. And TJ, good news. We got 2 games again this weekend, too. Anyway, so the New Orleans Saints, this final score does not really talk about how much of a beatdown this game was, as the Saints won 20-17 over the Carolina Panthers. Derek Carr, 21 of 36, 228 yards and a pick. Taysom Hill was the leading rusher, but Tony Jones Jr. Came in for the injured Jamal Williams and had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Chris Olave, leading receiver for the New Orleans Saints. And we also had a Michael Thomas sighting in this game as well. 7 catches for 55 yards from Michael Thomas. Another up and down game there for Bryce Young. 22 of 33, 153 yards and a touchdown. Miles Sanders, 14 for 43. And Adam Thielen caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Carolina Panthers. Thoughts?
It was kind of a sloppy game, if I'm being honest, because it just seemed like neither team could really hold on to the ball. Every time I turned around, it seemed like somebody was fumbling the ball. But this game was a lot closer than I think myself or many other people expected it to be. I mean, 20-17, but then again, that's most divisional games anyway. Like, they're always close, they're always tight, but the Saints.
I will say the final 11 points in this game was scored by the Carolina Panthers, I do believe. So to make this game even remotely competitive, because it really wasn't for a majority of the game.
Yeah, but other than that, look, the Saints haven't necessarily looked dominant in their first 2 games. They win by a point against the Titans, and then they win by 3 to Carolina. When these are 2 teams that they should be beating up wholeheartedly.
And I was mistaken, actually. The Saints had a touchdown in between those 2 Carolina Panthers. So this game was fairly, 13-9 going into the fourth quarter. Saints score a touchdown to make it 29. Carolina scores a touchdown to make it 20-17. The Saints basically get first down. So,
no, they beat the Carolina Panthers up. They physically beat their ass. It was evident. It was, we're going to run the ball down your throat. You can't do nothing about it. They beat their ass. 20-17, this game does not indicate, that final score does not indicate the ass whooping the Carolina Panthers took. Those touchdowns came in garbage time, David. Garbage time.
I mean, you get to what it depends on what garbage time is, really. I mean, this game was.
Dave, if it's the last minute and a half of a game and you're down 20-9, that's garbage time.
Okay, I mean, arguably, if they get a stop on, if they could get an onside kick, they're right in the game. I mean, you only need a field goal to tie the game back up. Your point still stands, though.
If my point still stands, why'd you just say that trivial that you just said?
Oh, because this game was, I think they could have gotten the ball back and won this game. They could have.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't have.
They could have stolen this game, and the Saints should have been more dominant.
No, they couldn't have. No, they couldn't have. We say all the time, if the team that needs the onside kick,
yeah, I know.
Guess what? Know. Game's over. So how you go? So how do you say that?
They did run the ball 33 times, and they averaged 4.1 yards a clip. You don't really need Derek Carr to be that efficient when you're running the ball that well.
All you need to impose, they will. They beat that.
All you need. Yeah, and to David's point, all you need him to do is just kind of control things, not lose the football game.
Don't get me wrong, that pick he threw was bad. I don't know what he saw on that interception he threw. That was bad. That was a bad pick by Derek Carr. But other than that, it was just like the 52-yard bomb he threw to Chris Olave. I think that was a better catch by Olave than it was a throw by Derek Carr. But other than that, yeah, like it was just defensively, and it was like defensively in the run game, the Saints imposed their will. They every time they blitzed Bryce Young, he had like somebody got to tell Bryce Young, bro, you are not at Tuscaloosa no more. You are not gonna have all day to stand back there and
I'm
pack
like,
the ball.
Cameron Jordan's coming, and he's coming soon.
Like they coming, bro. Like you are like they are coming after you. That like you don't have that luxury no more.
Moving on from this game, the second game on Monday Night Football, we got the Cleveland Browns going into Pittsburgh and falling 26-22. Before we get into it, just our thoughts and prayers out to Nick Chubb. You're going to need surgery on that knee. Season is more than likely over. Just to hope that, very reminiscent, similar to the injury he had in 2015. Hopefully he's able to make a full recovery and return to football action. I do not think the Mika Fitzpatrick shot or tackle was dirty, but I have heard that narrative. You're more than willing to have your own opinion on it. But I do not think it was a dirty play. Moving on from there, Deshaun Watson, 22 of 40, really inefficient in this game. That throw that he made at the end of the game, although it was obviously a hold on Joey Porter Jr., but it was a terrible throw, not even remotely close. One touchdown, one pick. Jerome Ford came in and played well in replace of Nick Chubb, 16 of 106. Pierre Song Jr. had the lone rushing touchdown. And Jerome Ford had the receiving touchdown as well. Kenny Pickett, another up and down game for him as well, as the passing game on neither of these two teams was not anything to write home about. 15 of 30, 222 yards, but 71 of those came in one pass to George Pickens. And Najee Harris could not get really anything going on the ground, 10 for 43. Kenny Pickett also threw a pick. And another news, TJ Watt, now the leading sack, has the most sacks in Pittsburgh Steelers history. He passed James Harrison last night. Who's going to go to the Hall of Fame, TJ, as we like to point out here. But George Pickens also 4 for 127 at touchdown. I think first time he was over the century mark in a game in the National Football League.
Christian?
Well, first, yeah, I echo your sentiments about Nick Chubb. That was tough to watch. And David, I agree with you. That wasn't a dirty hit. And, with I see the debates online. I remember a show I used to contribute for years ago. They asked me, with me being a former defensive player, they asked me, if you're still playing now, how are you aiming to tackle someone? I'm like, I'm not going crown to crown, because if I do that, one, I'm probably going to get ejected from the game. Two, it's probably going to be a fine to the National League office. And, a fight's going to break out. You go helmet to knee. Not only is it legal, unfortunately, a knee injury may be the aftermath of it. So it's like, these guys trying to make a play on the ball are stuck in between a rock and a hard place because they don't know how to tackle. You aim high, a flag is coming. You aim low, a flag could potentially come out. But I'm aiming low. Sadly, other than that, Cleveland's defense played great. Their offense is what lost this game for them. Like, their offense did everything to keep them in this game, and the offense just couldn't capitalize. And it's because, they lost Nick Chubb. I honestly think if he doesn't go down, Cleveland wins this game.
Yeah. Nick Chubb if Nick Chubb don't go down, they probably do win the game. Again, I know we don't want to leave the game up to the game in the hands of the referees, but you got to make that call, especially if it's right on top of you. Like you're right there. I don't care how bad.
At the very least, it's a hold. Like, it's for sure either a holding call or
hold. At the very least, it's a hold. It's an automatic first down. You got to make that call. Like, I don't care how bad you think the pass was by Deshaun Watson. It doesn't matter. A penalty was committed. You got to call that. And I've also never seen a quarterback get called for a face mask, like you said.
Two
like
in the same game, man. Yeah, like, I've never seen that. Like,
so I'm like, so we can't. So like, he's clearly like stiff arming the defender. So I'm like, so we can't stiff arm in the face mask no more.
I mean, you're not allowed to hold the face mask. I don't know. I've never seen that before. It was like the refs had a vendetta for against Deshaun Watson. Like, man, you want to get some illegal massages? You don't get no calls. Like,
I don't understand. It is what it is, but it's I don't know how long of a leash Deshaun Watson has with Cleveland.
I mean, they paid him a buttload of money. Like there's nobody really on the backup. Like I'm not sure who their backup is, but he contributed to 3 turnovers in this game.
Like I understand, like he hasn't, like he looks like he hasn't played football in long. He still looks like that, unfortunately. But it's just again like how long are we gonna have that as an excuse? You get what I'm saying? Like how long? Like how long can we? How long can that get milked as to why Deshaun Watson's playing bad? Now and I think to add, not add insult to injury, but I think the one guy that should probably feel some kind of type of way is now Kareem Hunt, because guess who's coming back to him with a hat in hand saying, hey man, yeah, we're sorry for how we treated you. Can you come back and play for us again? Like, yeah, that was announced earlier today. They're hosting Kareem Hunt.
I mean, he knows the offense. I mean, it makes a lot of sense for him to come back to this team. So
it makes sense, but at the same time, like they ousted Kareem Hunt, like they scapegoated him, like they got rid of him. Now you coming back to me, like hey, like now you need me.
But on the other side of the football, I think this is a big win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, falling 0-2, losing both games with, losing that first game to Pittsburgh or to San Francisco at home, and then to lose this game against Cleveland in a messy game that you could have easily won. That would have been a tough pill to swallow. This is a good win for Pittsburgh. Real good win.
Yeah, everything requires
their offense for sure needs all the tweaks though, because this does not look like an NFL offense right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like how Bears fans feel about Fields right now is kind of what Pittsburgh fans feel about Kenny Pickett right now. They're still asking a lot of questions. They not fully bought in on Kenny Pickett yet. I don't know what it's gonna take either.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, moving on from this, let's talk about game balls for week number 2. And since I went first last time, I'll go last this time. And I don't remember who went last time, but let's go TJ first. Give me who's got your game ball for week number 2?
Probably Bijan Robinson, first 100-yard game as a pro. Many more to come. Help secure that win for Atlanta. Christian?
I'm giving it to Mike Evans. Mike Evans, 6 receptions, 171 yards and a touchdown. And like I said, it doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball. This guy's going to be productive and make plays.
I'm going to go Sam Howell. 27 of 39, 299 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He also had 13 yards to the ground, but it's the fact that he kept his composure after he get down big in that game, led the Commanders back, and they're now 2-0. They're one of the surprising 2-0 teams in the National Football League. Shout out to Sam Howell. Gets my game ball this week. Moving on from closing that chapter on week number 2 and opening up that chapter on week number 3. We start with Thursday night football, and we got 2 teams that were in the playoffs last year. We got the New York Football Giants, Christian's New York Football Giants, going up against the undefeated San Francisco 49ers at Levi Stadium. Last time these 2 teams played was 2 years ago. Christian, do you remember the result of that game? Basically, almost 2 years to the date.
San Francisco won.
They did. What was the final score? Do you remember?
But I don't remember what I just had for dinner an hour ago. So how you think I remember what I did?
If I was you, you probably didn't want to remember what the result was. San Francisco put a 36 piece on the Giants, 36-9. Shellacking at the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. But how do you see this game shaking out? Thursday Night Football, presented by Prime Video.
The Giants' offensive line is in for it. That front 4, they're going to get a tremendous amount of pressure on Daniel Jones. They're going to bottle up the run. They're going to dare Daniel Jones to beat them. Look for Nick Bosa to have a couple of sacks. Look for Eric Armstead to have a couple of sacks. Javon Hargrave, I think, is going to be key in this game because he knows the Giants back to his days from playing with the Eagles. The 49ers are just too much. They keep rolling. I like the 49ers.
TJ.
Next game.
I'm also taking the San Francisco 49ers. From Thursday night football, we swing us into Sunday afternoon football. And the first game on the slate there, the Tennessee Titans going to Cleveland, taking on the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, Cleveland coming off that heartbreaking loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tennessee Titans coming off shocking the Chargers in overtime. Last time these two teams played was also 2 years ago in a shootout. Cleveland won 41-35. I think this game is going to be. I do not think this game will be a shootout. I think whatever team can get up to 20 points first will win. I have zero trust right now on what I'm seeing out of Deshaun Watson. I'm going to take the Titans to win this game. TJ.
Yeah, if the Titans can continue to play tough defense like they've been doing so far, continue to play tough defense. Myles Garrett, I think he got lost in the kerfuffle with with Nick Chubb and him getting hurt. Myles Garrett came up gimped in that game too. Like he hurt his leg too. So I don't know what the extent of that injury is. It's probably not as serious, but it's just something to keep an eye on if you're the Cleveland Browns and Browns fans, obviously. Obviously, like the recipe for this game, get the ball to Derrick Henry. I don't think Derrick Henry has a touchdown yet this season.
I thought he got one against the Chargers, but he just didn't have 100 yards. Don't quote me on that.
Don't quote me either.
I'm gonna look that up real quick. But Christian,
don't quote me either. Give me the Titans.
Man, this game can go either way. If you think about it, I really don't trust either quarterback. If I'm being honest, I'm gonna go Tennessee, but I don't have a lot of confidence in it.
Derrick Henry did get a touchdown against the Chargers, so he does have one on the season. But through 2 games, he's got 143 yards rushing. That's 70 yards per game average, roughly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Christian, go ahead.
I'm going to go Tennessee here. If that defense can continue to rise to the occasion, like TJ said, I think it's going to be a long day. And I just want to see how this Browns offense regroups after losing their best player. Nick Chubb accounted for more than 75% of what they do offensively. The game plan was simple. Hand the ball off to Chubb and let him do his thing.
Moving on from this game, we're going to swing back into the NFC, and we got a battle between the NFC South and the NFC North. We got the 2-0 Atlanta Falcons going into Ford Field, taking on the Detroit Lions, coming off that loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Atlanta just beat the NFC North team going up against the Green Bay Packers. Last time these two teams played was last season. Atlanta beat the Detroit Lions by 4 points. August 12th, 2022. That's got to be a preseason. Yeah, it don't matter. Detroit, Atlanta, Christian.
Detroit showed its vulnerabilities in that last game. Can't stop the run. Like they had a tough time stopping that run, and they had a tough time giving up some big plays, stopping the big play from getting down the field. Look, the Lions haven't had this much spotlight on them, and I think it's unfortunately kind of getting to them a little bit. They're not ready to handle it, and when you're not used to something, unfortunately, it kind of sticks with you. Atlanta, they're 2-0. They're playing well. They're running that ball. I think the Falcons going to win on the road here.
I agree. I also think that I haven't really heard it outside of the Barstool report I saw, but if they lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with a torn pec, that's a blow to an already somewhat struggling secondary. They need him.
He was their big free agency acquisition. He's for sure out against the Falcons. He's going to be out along with James Houston as well, also out for against the Atlanta Falcons, as they put C.J. Gardner-Johnson and James Houston on IR 3 hours ago. They're going to miss the next 4 weeks at least.
And if it's a torn pec for Gardner-Johnson, that's the season. That's the season for him. They don't have the second, losing him in the secondary, that sucks. Losing James Houston up front is just as crucial.
I'm not sure what his injury is. I just know he's on IR, so he's going to miss 4 weeks at least.
Yeah, give me Atlanta.
Fractured ankle, out 6 weeks at least.
Yeah,
So that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. I got them going 3-0. I think that running game that the Atlanta Falcons are going to voice it as one of their bell cows there in Atlanta. They're going to run it down your throat, and when they're done running it down your throat, they're going to run it some more. I think Atlanta is one of those underrated teams in the NFL. I think they play a mucky, dirty style, and I think you're going to know when you play the Atlanta Falcons. And their defense has been better than people anticipated. A lot of things that I predicted. So, moving on from there, we got the New Orleans Saints, the 2-0 New Orleans Saints, going into Lambeau Field, taking on the Green Bay Packers. I think this is the Packers' home opener as well. Saints coming off beating the Carolina Panthers, and the Packers coming off losing to the Atlanta Falcons. These teams played last year. Packers doubled up the Saints 20-10. I haven't loved what I've seen offensively out of the New Orleans Saints. I think the Green Bay Packers are a defense good enough, and they have an offense that's going to be good enough to really exploit the fact that this offense hasn't been clicking. I'm taking the Packers to win this game.
No, I'm taking the Saints. I don't think they're gonna rush Aaron Jones back, and Aaron Jones shouldn't rush himself back. It's again, hamstrings are not easy injuries to heal. Like you can't rush them. That's the frustrating part. Like he legit may think he's good. He legit may think he's 100%, but again, one wrong tweak, you try to rev up that engine one time, and you come up gimp, game over. You're done.
I will say Jamal Williams expected to miss some time here for the New Orleans Saints. I do not know how much time, but he's probably not going to play in this game. So
yeah, I'm gonna take the Saints, and I think the one thing that's being missed about that Packers Falcons game is all you needed was a field goal for if you're Green Bay, and Jordan Love couldn't get the offense into field goal. Like he couldn't get one first down. That's the growing pains that he's probably gonna face. Like taking unnecessary shots downfield that he didn't have to take. Like, no, take what's in front of you and go from there. Like you didn't need the big chunk play in that game against the Falcons. You didn't need that. Just take what's in front of you and go from there.
Christian.
I'm with TJ. I like the Saints because of their defense. I think they're going to throw a lot of different looks at Jordan Love. This is going to be the toughest defense he's faced all year long.
So far.
Yeah, so far. I think that secondary is going to be ready to play. And, the Saints, they can run that football. I still don't trust Green Bay's defense, per se. And I think this is going to kind of be a gritty, grinded out type of football game. I could see maybe 23 points potentially winning this game. I like New Orleans.
From this game, we're going back into the AFC, and we got the AFC South going up against the AFC East. This game is in Miami. We got the 0-2 Denver Broncos going up against the 2-0 Miami Dolphins. These two teams played 2 years ago, and Denver beat them 20-13. Christian, do you think the result will be similar in 2023? And that's 3 years. That's 3 years ago. I apologize.
I don't think, because Miami has too much team speed across the board, and that's going to be a problem for this Broncos team. And there's just no confidence in Denver right now. You think with Sean Payton there, they'd be a much better team. They lost that opener, and then you blew an 18-point lead in week 2 to the Washington Commanders. Something's not right in Denver. Miami, I love what they did in that game against New England. They passed the ball to set up the run, when normally you run the ball to set up the pass. I like the Dolphins here to keep it moving. They're going to be 3-0.
TJ.
Yeah.
And for my first lock of the week, I'm going with the Miami Dolphins as my first lock of the week. They'll take out the Denver Broncos. One of the problems that I have with Denver is last season, their calling card was how good their defense was. And now their defense is atrocious. I'm not sure what changed. Like the personnel hasn't changed all that much. Bradley Chubb was basically gone before he was even really a factor on this roster, and this defense has not been good. And the offense has actually been better than it was last season, and the defense is now falling apart on them. This Miami Dolphins team has all the speed in the world. Raheem Mostert, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They come in waves, and I don't think Denver's ready for it. Give me Miami. Lock of the week, as I have only 2 of those now.
Yeah, it's problems in the Mile High City. That's putting it nicely. I'm like you, Dave. I don't get it, and I think we're all confused about it. Like it's just like what's not clicking.
Well, when we talked about during their season preview, we didn't really understand where the consistent pass rush is going to be coming from. And through 2 games, they have really not generated pressure on the quarterback. Sam Howell didn't get sacked all that much. They just don't have people that can really get pressure on the quarterback. And you can have the best secondary in the NFL, and if you can't generate a pass rush,
Everybody
it doesn't matter. Not to mention in the game that they just played against Sam Howell and the Commanders, right? They only suited up 3 safeties in that game, and 2 of them got injured during the game. Kareem Jackson got ejected for a pretty dirty hit, and then Justin Simmons, I think, got hurt during that game. And they only had one. They basically had to do a corner play safety for them in that game against the Commanders. And every other team in the NFL suits 4 safeties for this reason, but not the Broncos. They're like, we got 3. We don't need any more. It's fine. Like, I don't know.
I don't get it either. All I know is they got to figure this out, because we said it when we did their season preview. Like, if they continue to struggle, they will not have a problem moving off of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, they have an early termination option in his contract next offseason anyways. Like, if they really want to move on from him, they can easily get away from his contract next offseason. Moving on from this game, we got the battle of 2 teams we expected to be contenders in both of their respective conferences, but neither team has won a game, and both of them have lost them both in one-possession games. We got the 0-2 Los Angeles Chargers coming off losing that overtime game against the Titans, going into Minnesota, taking on the Vikings. They're fresh off losing to the Philadelphia Eagles in a game they could have easily won as well. Last time these 2 teams played was 2 years ago. Minnesota won this game 27-20. I think the Chargers get off the schneid in this game. I think their ability to – I think Austin Eckler should be back for this game. I expect the Chargers to kind of run down Minnesota's throat, similar to how the Philadelphia Eagles handle things. So, yeah, give me the Chargers win this game. But I wouldn't be shocked if Minnesota won this game. It wouldn't shock me at all.
I'm taking the Chargers. Nothing against the Vikings. I think this is the defense. I think this is the game the Charger defense finally says, "God damn it, enough is enough. We gonna raise some hell." And kind of like what Tampa Bay did, like how they got home against Kirk Cousins. They gonna do, like that's what they gonna do. I think they're gonna take a page out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers book and raise hell on deep, because they got 2 guys on the edge that you can't, like, come on, man. Like, at some point in time, both those 2 dudes gonna have multiple sack games in the same game. It's got to be this one. Like, from a morale booster, it has to be this one.
Christian,
I'm going against you guys. I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings. The Chargers don't have an answer for Justin Jefferson, and I think Jordan Addison can have a really big game along with TJ Hawkinson. I think it comes down to the 4th quarter. I think it's going to be a shootout. It gets decided by a field goal. I don't trust this Chargers defense. It's too much pressure on their offense. I like Minnesota.
Moving on from this game, we're going to go into the AFC East, and we got the New England Patriots, the defeated New England Patriots so far through 2 games, going into New York and taking on the Jets, who are 1-1, who got beat down by the Dallas Cowboys last week. New England also has lost 2 heartbreakers in a row. How do you see this game shaking out, Christian?
New England's played tough these first 2 games. I mean, they could have easily came back on Philly, and they gave it their all against Miami, but it was just too late when it mattered most. The Jets were punched in the mouth the other day. I think that's what a lot of us expected, and it seems like every time Bill Belichick gets ready to play the Jets, he's always up for this game, and I think that continues. I like New England. I think it's going to be one of those games that's controlled by the running game, defense, and special teams, all in favor of New England.
I'm also taking the New England Patriots. I just don't with the Jets with their offense situation right now, given Zach Wilson his limitations at the quarterback position, I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough points to keep up with New England. I got New England.
Yeah, Jets. Zach Wilson got Jets fans in a.
He wasn't remotely good against the Cowboys. But I mean, the Cowboys are going to make a lot of people look bad.
Yeah, it's like he gonna make a lot of people look bad, but they gonna make a lot of people look bad. But at the same time, it's just like I didn't even notice this. Well, I did, but when I say notice, I didn't even think about this. Like that game against the Bills, like that touchdown pass he threw to Garrett Wilson, like the fade route, that was a terrible pass.
Yeah, 100%.
That pass was like Garrett Wilson had to tip it to himself to make the catch, and I'm like that was terrible. This is what happens when you try to get cute versus taking the logical player. All right, like you thought, like you listen to all the reports, and it's just like it's like, what does Zach Wilson do to get drafted second overall, be the second overall quarterback taken? And this is what you're stuck with, and this is why the Jets are the Jets. The Patriots are going to win this game, mostly because of the smarts of Bill Belichick. And it's just like, again, it's that boogeyman theory. Like they've lost 14 or 15 straight to the Patriots.
I thought the Jets beat them one time last season, but maybe not.
No.
I remember the second game.
It was a punt. They lost on the punt return.
I thought they won the one earlier in the season, but maybe not.
No. They haven't beat the Patriots in a handful of years now. Like it's just like no matter what you do, it's like you just can't do it. Just can't do it. And I'm taking the Patriots again.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out the last time that they won a game against. So just
good luck.
I think it was 2015.
All right. So the last time, it was 2015. The last time the Jets beat the Patriots was in overtime. Actually, the last two times that the Jets have beaten the New England Patriots, they lost. Both times were losses in overtime. In 2013 and 2015. So in the last 10 years. The Patriots only lost twice to the Jets, and both of them were in overtime.
2015. You know who the quarterback was for that Jets team? Fitzpatrick. I guarantee you that's who the quarterback was.
I can tell you, actually. Hold on. Yes, it was Ryan Fitzpatrick. Moving on. Anyways, sticking with the AFC East. This time we got the Buffalo Bills going up against an NFC East foe with the undefeated Washington Commanders. The last time these two teams played was in 2021. Christian, who do you think won that game in 2021?
Buffalo did.
43-21 as Buffalo torched up the Washington Commanders. I think it's going to be a similar result here this game, even though this game is in FedEx Field in wherever the Washington Commanders play, and Landover, Maryland, maybe. But yeah, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game. I think they got through what they needed to get through with that abysmal performance against the Jets. They bounced back against the Raiders. Look for them to continue to bounce back against the Washington Commanders. And if you get down by 18 points, Washington against the Buffalo Bills, it'll be over.
Yeah, it'll be over. Christian, shameless plug. I think he's previewing this game.
David.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Shameless plug number one.
Baby. Thank you, TJ, for the segue. So you look, I talk to you guys all the time, and what have I always said about the Buffalo Bills? If Izzy were here, he'd echo the same sentiments. What's the one thing I've been calling for the Bills to do these last couple? Run the football, and they did it. Yo, I was smiling like a proud dad after hearing that his son got some for the first time the other day. Like seriously. Like, you should have seen the look on my face. I almost wanted to cry tears of joy, but I didn't. But can they do this consistently? I think that's the question right there. And Washington, that's a big win across the country on the West Coast against Denver. And like TJ said yesterday when I was talking to him about this, That Washington front four can get after Josh Allen. I can't wait to preview this one. I think
Chase Young had his first sack, I think, in 2 seasons.
But at the same time, that Buffalo Bills front can get after Sam Howell. And it's just like when it comes down to it, who do you trust more to make the right play, make the big play? Josh Allen or Sam Howell? And give me Josh Allen every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I like Sam Howell. It's a good story. Like, again, no expectations. Like, no one is expecting a damn thing from him. Again, you can argue that 2-point conversion could have been called PI. Could have been. Not saying it was, but it could have been called. But it wasn't. That's not the world we live. That's the world we live in. Give me the Bills by 10.
I think the Bills beat down the Commanders. I think that they win by 20 points. Moving on from this game, we got the 0-2 Houston Texans in the AFC South. We got the 0-2 Houston Texans going into the 1-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, the Jaguars just lost to Kansas City Chiefs. Houston got beat by the Indianapolis Colts. Second game in a row against AFC South opponent. Christian, how do you see this game shaking out? Jacksonville, Houston. With CJ Stroud.
I like Jacksonville to bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
They know they did not look great the other day, and Houston's going to play them tough. Houston always seems to play Jacksonville tough in Jacksonville, but I think Jacksonville comes out on top.
TJ?
Yeah, the Colts the Texans don't have enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is one of those tough draws for the Houston Texans. You've got basically 3 opponents in a row that have been kind of tough. You've basically played the Ravens, and then you got 2 divisional rivals in a row. Yeah, they lose this game for sure. Sweep it. From this game, we're staying with the AFC South with the Indianapolis Colts, but they're going into the NFC North and taking on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Colts fresh up beating the Houston Texans. Baltimore beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Last time these two teams played, the Indianapolis Colts or the Ravens, sorry, won this game 31-25. That was back in 2021. Christian, how do you think this game shakes out in 2023?
I like the Baltimore Ravens here. They're rolling. They're clicking on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar is taking great care of the ball, but he looks more poised as a passer. And that's what happens when you surround your quarterback with weapons. I just don't think this Colts defense has enough to keep up.
I also expect Gardner Minshew to be the starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if that changes anything.
No, it doesn't. I'm still taking Baltimore. However, the Colts have a chance if they consistently attack that Baltimore secondary because it's not that good.
I also don't think the Colts have the skill position guys to really push this secondary all that much. Outside of Michael Pittman Jr., none of their pass catchers on this team really scare me. Give me the Ravens.
Don't you disrespect Alec Pierce like that? Don't do that.
Man, please.
Come on, dude. He hasn't proved anything in the NFL.
Don't be disrespectful.
David, I got man. Ain't nobody care.
Don't be disrespectful.
He hasn't proved anything in the NFL. I mean, I'm just saying.
He was also a rookie last year, so how many years do you need to prove something, David?
I mean, I'd like to see something out of him in the rookie season. I mean, come on, anything.
What did the Colts do last year as a team? 41 for 41, 5 and 593. That's a solid rookie season. Come on now.
Okay. I mean, you had those stats already ready to go. All right.
Who?
Oh God. Anyways, moving on. I'm assuming you're sweeping this, TJ.
Yeah.
I'm moving on.
I don't know what the status of Odell Beckham is either, though. I expect him to play. It's just an ankle.
Moving on from this game, we got the first game in the late afternoon window. We got the 0-2 Carolina Panthers going into Seattle and taking on the Seahawks. Fresh off beating Detroit. Carolina obviously got beat by the New Orleans Saints yesterday on Monday Night Football. Last time these two teams played was last year. Carolina beat the Seattle Seahawks 30-24. I believe this is that game where Carolina basically ran the ball 5,000 times. And I think this is that game where Sam Darnold completed 3 passes and still won the game. Don't quote me on that because I might be wrong on that, but pretty sure Sam Darnold was not good in this game, and they still won. But how do you see this game shaking out as the 2022 version of Carolina goes up against the 2023 version of Seattle?
I like Seattle.
Mm.
This is gonna be tough. You heard TJ.
Mm.
Next game.
Mm.
I'm also taking the Seattle Seahawks. I don't think Carolina has enough on offense to really push the Seattle Seahawks, especially since no wide receiver one has really emerged on this team. People thought Terrence Marshall would be the guy to take the step forward. That has not happened. From this game, we got a battle between the NFC North and the AFC West. We got the 0-2 Chicago Bears, our 0-2 Chicago Bears, going into Arrowhead, taking on the 1-1 Kansas City Chiefs, who beat the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. Last time these two teams played was last season. This must be a preseason game too. I don't know when this game shaking out. TJ.
Yeah, that was a preseason game last season. That they actually played like 2 years ago, and Kansas City. That was in Chicago. Kansas City won that one. I'm expecting Kansas City to win this one too. I just want a better showing from the Bears. And I understand that the fan base is well past moral victories at this point. You got Bears fans burning Fields' jersey. You got Bears fans calling for people's jobs. I think the one thing that people fail to understand or remember is not like Ryan Poles. Yeah, Ryan Poles. Yes, he did not draft Justin Fields. That much is they have beat that point home to everybody's blue in the face. You know what he also didn't do? He didn't hire Matt Eberflus. No, he didn't either. No, he didn't hire Matt Eberflus either.
I thought he did. I thought they got hired together.
No, they got hired a day apart. How do you hire a head coach first and then hire the GM? That's ass backwards. That's why this franchise is the way it is. Because you're supposed to hire the GM. You're supposed to hire the president first. Then the president hires the GM. Then the GM hires the head coach. They did that shit ass backwards.
But I'm agreeing with you, TJ. I just want to see a better performance out of the Chicago Bears. I want to see this offense actually be productive and a little more. I just like let's stop this notion that Justin Fields should be a pocket passer. Like he doesn't have that skill set right now, and like do what he does well. Like coach to his strengths. I don't understand what's going on with the Chicago Bears, but I think Kansas City is going to win this game. It's close to being my second lock of the week, but it's not. Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from this game, we got a battle between the NFC East and the NFC West with the 0-2 Dallas Cowboys going into the big toaster, taking on the Arizona Cardinals. And this right here is my second lock of the week. I'm taking the Arizona. I'm kidding. No, of course not. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys. They're my second lock of the week. I got Dallas Cowboys as my second lock of the week. Hopefully that works out for me. We'll see. From this game, let's talk about Sunday Night Football. And we got a old school classic against two rivals in the AFC going up against each other. But this is not the 1980s. This is 2023. And we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1-1 going into the Death Star in Las Vegas, taking on the Raiders at 1-1. Last time these two teams played was last year. Pittsburgh won this game 13-10 by the field goal. How do you see this game shaking out? Christian, go ahead. You got the floor.
I like the Steelers. That fan, look, half that stadium is going to be nothing but terrible towels. So this
absolutely.
This is going to be almost like a Steelers home game. We're going to call this Heinz Field West. Seriously.
You mean Acrisure Stadium?
Whatever. I said what I said. Heinz Field West. Now, what the hell? Acupuncture Stadium.
Acrisure Stadium is what it's called, man.
Heinz Field is what I said. TJ, what I say?
I would say that too. You're preaching to the choir, baby.
Thank you. It's gonna be a lot of Najee Harris. I don't think the Raiders have an answer for George Pickens. I think if that trio right there, Kenny Pickett, Najee Harris, and George Pickens, they can get it going. it's going to be a long night for the Raiders. I don't see this game being close. I just don't trust the Raiders.
I'm also taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't trust the Raiders in this offense and Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm. So yeah, give me the Steelers. I expect this to be very low scoring though. You get to 15 points, you might win the game.
Contain Max Crosby, you win the game. It's that simple. You limit Max Crosby's damage. There's no one in the secondary on the Raiders that scares you. And I'm a Nate Hobbs fan. I love Nate Hobbs, but he's only one person, right? So who on the Raiders do you trust to be like, hey, go guard George Pickens? Nobody. So yeah.
Moving on from this game, we got the Monday Night Football. We got the double header as the games will be kind of going on at the same time. We got the 2-0 Philadelphia Eagles going into Raymond James Stadium, taking on the surprising 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time these two teams played, Tampa Bay won that game 28-22. This is 2 years ago, but unfortunately for them, Tom Brady ain't walking through that door, and Baker Mayfield still the starting quarterback for their team. Philadelphia wins this game. And actually, I think this is a chance for their offense to kind of get right. And I actually think this is a game for their defense to finally shut the door on a team. Give me Philadelphia.
David.
Oh, let's go.
Time it is. Shameless
plug number 2.
2, baby. Everybody wants to say the Eagles look different. Yeah, they're 2-0. But I think what people are failing to realize, and I was telling TJ this, it's one thing when you lose one coordinator to a head coaching job. They lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators. So I think they're still trying to buy into what it is that they're trying to present right now. I think they can get the ball rolling. I still think, they're going to be there when it's all said and done. Tampa Bay, to me, this is the most surprising 2-0 team in the National Football League. And like I was telling TJ, let's not act like that defense still doesn't have guys that can hit. Vita Vea, the best duo of linebackers in the league, and Levante David and Devin White, Shaq Barrett, Antoine Winfield Jr., and Baker Mayfield. He looks rejuvenated. I preview this one tomorrow. Be on the lookout.
TJ.
One thing that we know for certain is the Eagles have competent coaching and competent play calling. They're not going to call the same 3 screenplays in a row backed up on their 6-yard line with the game on the line. They're not going to do that. They're also going to be able to get their defense off the field on third down. Baker Mayfield was like 10 to 12 on third downs or some shit like that, something ridiculous. I think Baker Mayfield comes back down to earth a little bit this game. And I don't expect it to be that close either. Give me the Eagles by 2 touchdowns.
I agree with you on that. I think this game will not be close. And then the final game of the Monday Night Football weekend, we have a rematch against the Super Bowl a few years ago. This game is in Cincinnati. We got the 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals welcoming in the Los Angeles Rams, who are 1-0, 1-1. They've obviously just lost to the San Francisco 49ers. Cincinnati just lost to the Baltimore Ravens. And a fun fact, the Cincinnati Bengals have the worst offense in the National Football League right now. The Rams actually have the second best offense in terms of yards per game. The Rams have the 6th best defense, and the Bengals have the 28th worst defense. Last time these two teams played, obviously, was in the Super Bowl. Actually, I think they played last season as well, where the Bengals won that game 16-7. Obviously, the Rams won the Super Bowl, so this is kind of the rubber match between the two teams, obviously without the difference. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at all the stuff about Joe Burrow and how much he's been hit since he's been in the league, and I just can't help but think back to that time where they drafted Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. And don't get me wrong, it's worked out fine for them in both ways. Like, it's worked out great for both players. But I can't help but think that how much better it would have been had they just did the safe pick and took the perennial generational right tackle over the receiver. Because They've invested in and it's not like they haven't invested in this offensive line. They have. They clearly have. It's just not working for whatever reason. I'm gonna take the Bengals to get their first win. I don't feel good about it. Like the only difference is the Rams defense. Like, yeah, you still got Aaron Donald, but there's no Von Miller to help out, and there's no Leonard Floyd to help out. So give me the Bengals. Like, if you contain Aaron Donald, easier said than done, I know. But yeah, give me the Bengals.
I think one of the biggest problems with the Cincinnati Bengals, their offense hasn't been as good as people anticipated their offense has been because Joe Burrow has been a little banged up, but their defense has been abysmal. Like they haven't really been able to stop any part of any offense from the Cleveland Browns to the Baltimore Ravens. And this Rams offense has been really clicking on all cylinders. They gave San Francisco all they can handle, a really good San Francisco defense, and this Bengals defense is even close to as good as the San Francisco's is. I'm taking the Rams to go on the road and win this game. I liked what I've seen out of them. Woo. And I actually like I've been talking like the Rams, like they're like when we were talking about the Rams, like they were either going to be abysmal or like a Super Bowl contender, and they look like a Super Bowl contender. Give me the Rams.
So I have to break the tie. Damn it. I like the Bengals, but I won't be surprised if the Rams did win this game. I mean, both teams.
Yeah.
Both teams are a lot different now than what they were when they met in that Super Bowl. But I'm gonna just keep saying it. The Bengals missed Jesse Bates. Like Jesse Bates was a big part. He was the glue that kept everything together, not just for that secondary, but you could arguably say
not just him though. It's both of them. It's Bates and Bill. They lost both of them.
Yeah.
It's Bates and Bill. Like it's both of them.
I just see the Bengals starting 0-3. I think they win this one.
Sticking with the Rams, I think this game will be close. Would I be shocked if Cincinnati wins? No.
Oh, that's fine. I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. Like I would not be shocked at all if the Rams won this game, but I'm sticking with Cincy.
Thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. This has been our Week 2 Monday Night Football recap, Week 3 preview / predictions. We also gave out some game balls. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, as we're going to be riding with you guys for the entire length of the National Football League this entire season, all 18 weeks, including the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So keep an eye out for that stuff. Tomorrow on the Prime, we got Fantasy Football Weekly. That show will go live at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep an eye out for that content. I'm David Huppman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And from the Daily Blitz.blog, our good friend, Mr. Christian Simpson, or brother, as I like to, as we pointed out last week. We're basically brothers now, my friend. Thank you very much for checking us out. Please like, share, subscribe to the podcast. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all stay safe and have a good night. Enjoy the Thursday night show because we don't have a show together until next week. So enjoy the game.
I'm not watching that game.